I'd like to tell everybody to dream big and to believe, because dreams do come true. And today, I'm very humbled that one of my dreams has come true.
Watson takes a snap, rolls right, looks into the end zone. Hunter up the caught it! Touchdown! 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 With a second left.
It's intercepted, and the Tigers are going the other way. A.J. Terrell with a pick six.
Lawrence took a peek downfield, had a lot of room, and breaks the tackle, and is still running. Lawrence in a foot race. Will they catch him? Touchdown, Tigers!
Booker.
Shot. Chase Hunter tries to the shooting. And it goes! Chase Hunter! And one!
Pitch. And this one hammered high, deep to right, way back, and out of here! A grand slam! Seth Beer!
He's in the lineup, but he has been a game changer. This one's out to center field. It is deep. It is gone! Oh, my goodness!
Welcome back to the Walk On Podcast, where we talk all things Clemson sports with Nic and JT, while also examining the landscape of college and sometimes professional sports. And JT, we're back for the preview, baby.
Back, man. Hey, appreciate y'all tuning in the last video. We're here to talk about what we think's going to happen this coming week.
Oh, yeah, in Clemson, then we got basketball back after a disappointing loss at Boise. We got Radford this week, Thursday, I believe. And Radford, this is going to be the second time they come to Little John. They came to Little John last year and got demolished.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at this game, 93-58.
Come on.
Now, I don't know if we're going to see something like that again this year.
Yeah.
But this Radford team, I mean, they lost 5 out of their top 6 scorers from last season.
Yeah.
But, however, they did get some guys in the portal that have been helping them out so far, try to, replace that type of scoring. But the guy you want to look out for is senior transfer guard Jarvis Moss. He's averaged 21 points throughout the first 4 games after a pitiful performance against Pitt in Game 1. Moss, he's a former Stanford Cardinal and Davidson Wildcat.
Okay.
And he's just now starting to produce at that elite level. You didn't really see him do that while he was at those other 2 schools.
Yeah.
But this year, he's been lights out. This Radford team, they don't really shoot threes. They do, obviously, because everybody shoots threes nowadays, but they don't depend on it.
Yeah.
This Radford team's they're going to try to get inside. They're going to try to get to the foul line. Jarvis Moss, he's going to be the only one you see really step back, take some shots, take a lot of shots.
Oh, yeah.
But if Clemson's they've had some foul trouble this year. So, I mean, if they let Radford get to the foul line a lot, this game might get, a little sneaky fast.
Yeah.
But Clemson, they got a lot to bounce back on. I don't see a world where Clemson loses this game. Yeah,
Should be a lock.
Yeah, it should be a lock to win for sure. But especially coming off that embarrassing loss on the road, I just think Clemson's going to use their size to dominate the boards in the paint. You're just going to hope that you don't really foul while you're doing that. That's going to be I'm telling you, fouling. If you see Clemson fouling, this game's going to get close fast. But I think the Tigers are going to win 88-67.
Okay.
Chase Hunter's going to have another ACC Player of the Year worthy game.
Yeah.
And we're going to get back on track before we have to go and play San Francisco on Monday. I don't have too much on San Francisco, but we're playing them in the Sunshine Slam tournament. We were in that tournament last year. I believe it's San Francisco, TCU, and Fordham in that tournament with us.
Okay.
San Francisco and TCU, they're both in the Quad 1 right now.
Yeah.
So the Tigers have an opportunity to bounce back and get 2 Quad 1 wins.
Yep.
But this San Francisco team beat Boise State a couple of days ago. And I don't know how the Tigers are going to look against that game.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one, and these Tigers got to go hard. They got to play hard. You mentioned this in the last episode. There's got to be other players that step up. That's not Chase Hunter.
Yeah.
We got to see more from Zachary. We got to see more from just the guys, just the shooters. The guys who are playing and have the Clemson jersey on because they can shoot, because they can score. So we need to see more guys step up, definitely on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And this San Francisco team, I mean, they've been holding opponents to 60 points a game.
Yeah.
And that is not what you want to see with Clemson walking into this game, because they can't score right now outside of Chase Hunter. They don't really have too many options. But it's really going to be interesting to see what happens. And I'm not, like I said this in the last episode, I'm not calling for you to bench anybody right now. But if things go wrong and you drop this San Francisco game, somebody's got to sit down and have a conversation about who's got to play.
Yeah.
And I like freshman guard Dale Jones off the bench. I think he provides a great spark.
Okay.
He can't really shoot it yet, so that doesn't really help with your scoring issue. But he can get to the paint though.
Yeah.
and he can make something happen. And maybe Jake Heidbreeder needs to step up, play a little bit more. He missed his 2 shots at Boise, but it's hard to get going when you only take 2 shots.
Yeah.
Anybody that's played basketball knows you got to warm up a little bit. Maybe seeing Jake in the starting lineup might be a change instead of Chauncey, but I'm not going to call for that yet. I'm going to see how these boys play against Radford, and then I'll really do a deep dive into San Francisco. If you want more information about that, you can see it on the Walk On blog. That is at www.the-walk-on.com. And JT's going to post the final of that game on Clemson.fans.
Come on.
You know it. I mean,
Every time.
You just got to look on the story to catch it. You ain't got to go to his page, man. But moving on, I'm going to get to Clemson football. I don't want to talk too much about this game either, because Clemson's got the Citadel this week. Unless, JT, are you thinking the Citadel's going to come in here and upset Clemson?
Absolutely not. I was about to make a joke. Like I really did think they were. They're not. They're not going to come close to touching us.
Yeah, they better not. But I think this game's going to... People don't think this game matters, but I think this game's one of the most important games we have, just to see our depth, you know? Like, Clemson hasn't really showcased their depth a lot of games this year, but this is a game where Clemson's really got to show that they have something on their bench, especially with with us not really going to the portal as many. Any. I'm not going to say as much as any teams because we don't go any, but especially with us not going and grabbing guys from the portal, this is a game Clemson has an opportunity to showcase what they have, so fans can still be excited.
Yep.
And I really want to see these young guys play. And this game's coming at a good time because Clemson's very injured right now.
Yeah.
I hit it on it in our review on the last episode. They had about 5 defensive starters out against Pitt. Clemson had 9 offensive linemen out at practice yesterday. I don't even know how that's possible. I couldn't even tell you the 9 people, and I know everything about Clemson football.
Yeah.
But this game's an important get healthy game for Clemson, and I don't understand I don't know how long the starters are going to play. That's my concern. Like, once they get up, I just don't know how much they're going to play. I don't want to see Klubnik in there for more than 2 quarters, to be honest with you.
Hopefully not.
I really don't want to see Maffa in there at all. I want to see a lot from the backup running backs, and just some young guys I want to see. I want to see Vizina.
Yeah.
I want to see Vizina getting in there and play good football.
Yeah.
You haven't really seen that from him this year outside of his running game. I want to see him throw it. I want to see every backup running back.
Yeah.
Because with Maffa's leaving after this year, and we don't, like I hit on in the review, we don't really give it to any other running back. No other running back plays other than Maffa. So Clemson's got to show something within their running backs that's, gets people excited. And it's like, okay, we're fine for next year. I want to see freshman tight end Christian Bendiker. It's a big 4-star recruit. I walk by him every day, about 6'5", 6'6", especially with how poorly Jake Bringator's been playing. I want to see him in the game. I want to see Drew Woodass. I want to see if Drew Woodass can live up to Wade's potential, maybe be a good linebacker for us in the future. And I want to see the freshman defensive backs. Obviously, I want Ashton Hampton. We already know he's good, so I want to see him, obviously, but I don't need any more proof from him. I want to see Corian Gibson.
Right.
Fellow 4-star recruit. He might have been higher rated than Ashton Hampton. Came from Texas. Big recruit. He's been hurt all year, but he's getting healthy for this game. And those are the guys I want to see. You got any guys you want to see, JT?
I just want to see a win, man. So when we put our guys out there, I want to see us go hard. I'm really excited for Vizina. Cade Klubnik didn't have those games where he was put in at the end of the game because we were never up.
Yeah.
He never had those chances to play. And so getting Vizina reps, it may not look good. We may not be proud of how he plays. I like Vizina. I think he's a good player. But the reps he gets in these kind of games is what we need.
Yeah.
And so whether it looks good or not, it's experience. And, Cade mixed out in that. So hopefully Vizina will be a little bit more locked in as he steps up into that role.
Yeah, and Clemson, they've been very good all year at protecting the football. And if they don't have a turnover this game from the starters, there's no possible way that we lose.
Yeah.
There's no way. I want to take people back to last year for a second, where the Clemson offense played Charleston Southern in Game 2 and threw a pick 6 in the first quarter and a fumble that took Charleston Southern down to the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Or the Clemson 5-yard line. And it was 14-14 after the end of the first quarter. And it's pretty embarrassing, but I just want to read you the final score from that game. It was 66-17.
Yeah.
So Clemson will have to turn the ball over 5 times to lose this football game.
Yeah.
But the Citadel, they have a second-year head coach. They're not in the option anymore, which shocked me when I was doing some research into them. They're actually in the shotgun now. They love to throw it. They got a 6-year quarterback, but this They're not looking. This is their last game of the season. They're not coming in here looking to lose by 50.
Yeah.
So the Citadel upset South Carolina in 2015, and they're looking to do the same thing to the Tigers.
Citadel don't play next week?
No, they're done. This is their last game.
Really?
Yeah. They were 5-6, and they came into the year expected to win one game.
Wow.
So their senior head coach doing a great job, but unfortunately he has to end his year at Clemson. We're not going to predict this game, obviously. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm going to say what I think the score is going to be, but it's not going to go to our records because this is just a gimme game.
What's the score prediction?
59-13.
I'm saying 55-13.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
That's
55.
awesome.
How do we get to 55?
We'll find a way.
Goals?
We'll find a way, bro. Yeah.
To field goal. I want to see Robert Gunn kick a field goal.
Dude, this is the game to do it.
This is the game to do
This
it.
is the game to do it.
But I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Moving on, we're going to stay in the ACC. I mean, I just have ACC chaos written down. That's what Clemson needs. They need chaos. And I actually found a website that if you click games of of remaining conference games and who wins and who loses and calculate the standings, it tells you who would make the conference championship game. And we kind of hit on this in the preview or in the review. Miami just has to lose one for Clemson to make it, right? And SMU has to lose to Virginia.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh has to beat Louisville. And then Virginia has to beat Virginia Tech the next week.
On the road, yeah.
On the road.
So those chances are not very, very. I'm not going to hold on too tightly to those.
No, I wouldn't either.
But, I mean, it could happen because Louisville has the head-to-head against Virginia. Therefore, if they were tied, Louisville would be ranked ahead of Virginia. So we would need a little extra from Virginia and a little more losses from Louisville.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't just have to hold on tight to Miami losing another one. Mm-hmm. But I still think Miami losing another one's the best way for Clemson
I agree.
to get to the ACC championship game and the most likely way. But if Tony Elliott, he has the opportunity to do the greatest thing for Clemson football.
Absolutely.
Other than win a national championship for us. I mean, I really hope that happens. It just opens the door wide open to possibilities.
Yeah.
But moving on, I don't really want to talk too much about the ACC. The ACC is most likely going to be a one-bid league unless, I mean, just crazy things happen. We'll get to the SEC. Texas and Texas A&M, they control their destiny to the SEC championship game. Yeah. Assuming both teams win out. They play each other at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So whoever wins that game, if they don't lose another one, gets into the championship game. But behind that, nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to pull up the tie right quick. You would have the loser of the Texas A&M game and 5 other teams. No, 5 total teams. Sorry about that. Tied for second place in the SEC. And then it would just come down to conference winning opponent percentage or something. And I think Alabama has that tiebreaker, the best one for that. Yeah. So Alabama, even after having a year that many Bama fans would say is horrible, would still make the SEC championship game with an opportunity to get a bye in the playoff. Which is crazy to me.
How legendary is it that a team could lose at Vanderbilt and still have such good chances, man?
It just shows how good Vanderbilt is, man.
I guess so.
I mean, Vandy's crazy, but how many SEC teams do you think are going to be in this playoff, man? 4 or 5?
I'm gonna say 4.
You
I don't.
5?
I really prefer there to be 3 because I don't believe in Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee. I mean, I said earlier I think Tennessee would beat Ole Miss. I don't know, honestly. Those teams are pretty comparable.
There's gonna be 6 teams in the race to get in from the SEC. Maybe 7 if South Carolina beats Clemson.
Yeah.
And you think 4 is gonna get in?
Yeah. I want 4 to get in.
What if Indiana loses to Ohio State? Do you think Indiana still gets in? They get blown out.
Absolutely.
They get blown out.
They're gonna still make it.
That's crazy. I don't think so.
I think they will.
I don't think so. That's like it's the same argument that the committee made last year at Florida State and Alabama. I mean,
they got absolutely obliterated for
team,
making that argument. So they might switch ways, honestly.
Yeah, but they've already set the precedent for it, though.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'm telling you, I don't think this SEC. I think you see 5 teams in here, and I want us to both to pick an SEC team to ride with.
To ride with.
To ride with, and I got mine. I know mine.
I know mine. You're not gonna like mine, but I've had mine since August 1st when I finished my predictions for the season.
Is it Georgia?
I will stick with Texas for the SEC.
I hate that.
I had Texas beating Georgia in the beginning of the year. I had them in my playoff as a 5 seed, I believe, before the year started. Neither of those things on pace to happening, but they didn't lose. They didn't beat Georgia. But anyways, I was high on Texas, and I still am. What is your SEC team?
Ole Miss, baby.
Come on.
I think Ole Miss is the third best team in the country right now.
Oh my gosh.
Which is crazy because I'm about to. I mean,
I just can't reward a team for losing to Kentucky. That's the only thing.
dude, it's one bad game, man.
If that's the case, Clemson should be top 10. We had one bad game.
I don't think we should be top 10, but I don't think we should be hated on as much as we are hated on for one bad game, honestly. But I think Ole Miss is playing the best ball in the country right now. Mm-hmm. You saw them dominate Georgia. I mean, this game wasn't even close from the start.
Yeah.
And you saw them score 63 versus Arkansas. They're kind of doing it all. They've showcased the fact they could score. They've showcased their elite defense.
But they also struggled against Oklahoma, and they lost to Kentucky. I think if you want to base it off of did they struggle against LSU? That's looking to be
No,
bad.
they were leading the whole game, and then they just lost at the end.
I mean, they lost at the end though.
It's because it was at Tiger Stadium at night.
Hey,
I like LSU.
you know what Bama did to Tiger Stadium at night? They ripped them up.
They did rip them up, but I like Ole Miss, and I think Ole Miss, they have Florida and Mississippi State. They have to go to Florida. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
We're going to hit on that later.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, Ole Miss, if they win out, they're in. Mm-hmm. So
I agree.
I'm rocking with them.
Yeah.
I'm rocking with them.
Yeah.
Texas has a tough chance here. But here's my thing with Texas. We'll say they lose to Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. They are sitting at 10-2. They will not make the SEC championship game. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they get in.
I'm not sure they will either.
They don't have a top 25 win.
I'm pretty sure they beat Texas A&M. I'm pretty confident with that game.
It's at Kyle Field.
I don't care. I don't believe in Texas A&M and who they are.
Yeah, I jumped the gun on Texas A&M a little bit.
You did a little bit, and that's okay. I was pretty high. I had them top 10 at one point. So I don't believe in Texas A&M. I think Texas will take care of business there. We'll see. It's going to be really chaotic coming up.
Yeah, it is.
Clemson fans would need Texas to beat Texas A&M anyways. We need to jump Texas A&M.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that.
Yeah.
Clemson fans, the at-large bid is not impossible.
It's a long hill
It's
to
a
climb.
long shot, but I'm going to tell you what you need from the SEC right quick. You need Texas to beat Texas A&M. That would knock Texas A&M out. You need Tennessee to lose to Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. That's not impossible either. Mm-mm. You need Florida to beat Ole Miss this week.
Possible.
And I think that's about it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that lets you, if those three teams lose, then that means the SEC is only going to get 3 teams in.
Which is what I hope for.
Which would be Texas, Georgia, and Alabama. Mm-hmm. Honestly, the 3 teams everybody thought were going to be in. For sure. So that's what Clemson fans need from the SEC. Moving on, we'll go to the Big Ten.
Yep.
And I have written down here, are they even good? You know, you look at, they have, 4 of the top 5 teams in the country?
They
4 of the 6 now. I can't remember.
I think it's 4 of the 5, yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 of the 5. That's absurd to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Penn State and you look at Indiana. Penn State, they've played a much tougher schedule than Indiana has. But Indiana hasn't played anybody. And you really see this week what they're going to do against Ohio State. But it's kind of crazy to me that the Big Ten has so many high-ranked teams. I don't know if that's crazy to you.
I mean, it's just the SEC is kind of beating up on each other. For that reason, I think the Big Ten slides into their spots.
Yeah.
Now, do they deserve their spots? I don't think they do. But they just tend to fall there just because the SEC is just kind of beating up on each other. So that's just going to happen. I think that's just because the Big Ten is just slightly weaker than the SEC. So I don't know. Yeah, but you have a lot of Big Ten teams in there.
Yeah, and they all kind of have a cakewalk for the rest of the year, except for Indiana and Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about this game right now. Indiana, we just hit on this earlier. I think Indiana's in a must-win spot, honestly, or a must-lose close spot. I don't think they can get blown out and still make the playoff. I don't think that happens. I think a 10-2 Clemson gets in over Indiana if they get blown. If they lose by 4 touchdowns,
Yeah.
I think Clemson gets in over them.
I would disagree with that, mainly because of our loss at Louisville.
I mean, maybe, but I think it's a conversation though.
It is, yeah.
But I just
if we beat it South Carolina, though.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You'd beat South Carolina. I mean, we wouldn't need to make the AC championship in that scenario though.
Yeah.
Because if we lose the AC championship game, we're done anyway.
Right.
But I don't know. It's hard. I've struggled predicting this game all week. Mm-hmm. I've thought about it. I've watched videos. I've watched other people's opinions, and I still don't know where to go.
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana, we really don't know how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't played really anybody. They struggled against Michigan, but that was the only team they struggled against all year. I mean, maybe it's because it was the best roster they've seen all year, or maybe it was just because they had a bad game.
But do we think the playoff committee would put in Indiana having a loss against Ohio State, a bad loss, or the loser of like the SEC championship? You know, who sits at
A three loss?
Probably
They
three loss.
absolutely put in the SEC team.
Would they?
Yeah, because the three. I mean, I don't know if you can punish a team for losing that championship game.
Yeah.
If they're in the conversation before the championship game.
I think honestly both teams would get in that case, but
I mean, maybe.
I'm pretty firm that the committee's going to let Indiana play. So
yeah, this game is big noon kickoff, obviously on Fox. I mean,
that.
it's the best thing in college football. Not, but Ohio State opened as an 11.5-point favorite, and now they're sitting at a 13.5-point favorite. It's kind of high. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's kind of not Vegas is not respecting Indiana at all. But my concern is like Indiana. They're a really balanced offense. First of all, they throw it, they run it well, but all their big throwing plays are on contested catches. Every single one of them. You don't see them running wide open like you see Ohio State receivers doing. Yeah. You see these jump balls, 50-50s winning, which is good. It's good that you can do that. But every time I look at this game, I just look at Ohio State's roster. Mm-hmm. They have the best roster in college football. They went out and they bought it. And Indiana brought in a new roster too. Mm-hmm. But they didn't. It's not a roster from Power 4 schools. It's a roster from JMU and a couple of MAC schools.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to be able to slow down Ohio State's receivers.
Yeah.
On the back end.
I don't have a lot of faith that Indiana goes into Columbus and wins. That just doesn't sound like something that would happen. So I've got my marbles on Ohio State, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the spread. I mean, is that a...
I don't know,
Is that
man.
a lock? I mean, shoot.
Do you think it's a lock Ohio State could cover?
No, I'm asking if it's a lock. Because they struggled against Nebraska. They beat Penn State close. I mean, during these very big games, Ohio State tends to play close, and they tend to play low. So we'll see what happens, and I'm curious, and we'll be watching this game for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Clemson doesn't play till 3:30. This will be the one on the TV for sure. I don't know, man. I still don't know where to go. Do you have your prediction? You want to say your prediction, what you think?
Score prediction?
Just a team. You don't have to go score unless you want to.
I'm going to say Ohio State beats Indiana.
See, that's what I have down, too. I really want to pick Indiana, though.
Nah, stamp it. Actually, dude, pick Indiana, man.
No. I'm going to go Ohio State. It's hard. It's hard for me to see such a turnaround for a program in 1 year. Mm. Now, they're still can make the playoff. I'm not saying they're out. And I don't know what the score of this game's going to look like. That's really what I struggle with the most, is how this game's going to go. But it's possible Indiana comes out here with a win, but on the road, in the shoe, that's difficult. I'm just going to go Ohio State. I don't know how much. If I had to bet on this game, like gun to my head, I got to put a bet down, I'd probably take Indiana to cover that 13.5.
I don't hate that.
I think Ohio State may pull away in the fourth quarter. Yeah. I think the fourth quarter may hurt you. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to be sweating, but I think it's close all the way up to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then maybe Ohio State hits some downfield throws and puts them away.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, moving on, I want to go to the Big 12 right before we get to our game predictions. Colorado's playing their best football. Arizona State is in the race. BYU has kind of shot themselves in the foot. Iowa State's not out yet. I mean, I hate talking about this conference, but because this conference feels like the conference where everybody just beats everybody.
Yeah.
You know, normally that was the ACC Coastal
it's
Division.
Like the MAC of the Power 4, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Big 12 action. But I don't know, man. We're going to hit on this Arizona State game in a second, but there's so many scenarios for who's going to make this conference championship game. And I think there's a scenario where this conference champion doesn't even make the playoff.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if anybody's keeping up with Tulane or Army, but both of those teams they're most likely going to play each other in the American Conference Championship game. Mm-hmm. And if one of those teams wins above the other, then do you think a 2-loss Tulane gets in over a 2-loss Arizona State.
Man, it's close. That's really
Obviously, if Colorado wins, Colorado's going to make it.
Yeah.
And maybe I think Colorado's the only definite team here. I mean, other than BYU, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think BYU's going to drop.
Arizona State has some not so good losses.
They lost Cincinnati, I think, and somebody else. Who else? That
Wasn't a good loss. I know that. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but
Texas Tech.
yeah, it's just not good losses. That's similar losses that Tulane has, and so that's funny. I think also Arizona State beat Kansas State. Didn't Tulane lose to Kansas State? So
Yeah.
I think with that being said, that's implied that Arizona State would make it over Tulane, but that's a scenario that we could see, and I think Arizona State. I'm high on them, especially after this week. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think the Big 12 is a new Group of 5 conference because I think Boise's getting the bye no matter what. I think Boise's going to win out and get the bye. I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. You can stamp my prediction for that.
Yeah.
The Big 12 will be the 12 seed or the 11 seed. I don't know where they'd place Colorado or BYU at this point if either team wins out, but I think Boise stays ahead of them in the rankings, honestly, and I think they should.
Yeah.
Because their one loss is to Oregon on the road by 3 on the last play of the game. Mm-hmm. But moving on, I want to get to some game predictions here.
Let's do it.
You got an important one here for Clemson. We already picked Indiana, Ohio State.
Yeah.
You got an important one here for Clemson. Wake Forest goes to Miami. Mm-hmm. Does Miami play another close one against the terrible ACC team?
I think
They're coming off a bye.
Yeah. I think Miami puts Wake Forest in a chokehold and snaps their head off. I think Miami wins big.
Just be a little vulgar here. I mean,
I'm gonna be honest.
I'm gonna have to put the E on the podcast now. Thank you. I'm gonna have to put explicit content. Where JT's talking about popping people's heads off.
I think Miami wins in a big one. I'm not really hesitant on this game, even as a Clemson fan. I want Wake Forest to win, but I'm really putting my marbles into the Syracuse matchup that Miami has coming up the stretch. So I'm gonna say Wake Forest loses kind of in a big one against Miami.
Yeah, I think Wake Forest is going to lose too. The spread for this game is sitting at 24. Mm-hmm. That's a big number.
Yeah.
Especially with how Miami's been playing football. But here's what I want to say about Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a good coach football team. I love Dave Clawson as a head coach.
Yeah.
Love him. I think he does a great job. And they normally play an ACC team close, a good ACC team close every year. That has not happened yet.
Yeah.
They have not had an opportunity to get a season-defining win, and it may come. And it's possible it comes here. Being on the road is hard, even though Miami Stadium is horrendous and nobody shows up to those football games.
Yeah,
because that's what happens when you put a college team in an NFL stadium.
Yeah,
nobody shows up.
Well, I mean, you're right.
But Wake Forest is coming off 2 bad losses to Cal and North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I don't see a world where Wake Forest wins this game, but I think it could be close for a little bit. I think Miami pulls away late.
I hope it's close, but
I do not think they cover.
I think we see maybe what's the spread?
24. That's a lot of points. That's 4 possessions.
It's close. That's close.
I think
Miami. That's a good line.
I think Miami wins by like 20.
Yeah.
I think you see kind of like the Duke game. Mm. I think Miami just turns it on.
Yeah. I think Miami wins big.
But it's also, it's possible we see a different Miami team now. They did actually lose a game, and they're coming off a bye week. We'll see how motivated they are. Their season depends on Cam Ward, honestly. Yeah. But moving on, we both got Miami for that one. Going to the SEC, Ole Miss at Florida. Florida just played spoil to LSU last week. Uh-huh. We hit on this in the review, how much we liked DJ Lagway. I just talked about how much I liked Ole Miss.
Dude, I want to hear what you have to say about this game before I go in, because I know you're really high on both of these teams, and so I really want to hear what you say.
I love both these rosters. I legit wanted to make a portion of one of these podcasts, a review of the preview, just about Florida. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think their future's bright, and I think Billy Napier hasn't done the best job winning games, but he's got a really tough schedule, and I think he's done what he had to do this year to keep his job, and he did. But next year they're going to play 7 top 25 teams. But I think if they can get into the portal and get some guys to come play with Lagway, they have a chance. But my question last week was, is Lagway playing? My question for this game is, how healthy is DJ Lagway?
Yeah.
Because if he can't run the ball, like he could barely move it. Like I saw him walk into a timeout against the LSU, and he was limping. Yeah. Like he literally could barely put pressure on whatever leg that his hamstrings hurt on. So my question is how healthy Lagway is, and can he get healthy enough to use his legs? Because if he can't use his legs, then I don't think this game's close, unfortunately, because of just how good Ole Miss defense has been this year. But Florida's defense is the key to this game. You saw Ole Miss offense struggle against Oklahoma. You saw them struggle against Kentucky. Florida's got to get pressure inside and destroy Ole Miss's run game and put pressure on Jackson Dart to be able to have an opportunity here. But my question is always going to go to Lagway's rushing ability, because Ole Miss has a much better defense than LSU does.
Yeah.
Like I want to pick Florida in this game. Like I really want to, but I'm not going to.
What's your brain pick? I know what your heart pick. What's your
My brain's picking Ole Miss, and the spread's 10.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it at 9.5. If it's sitting at 9.5, I'd take it for Ole Miss to cover. I'm not sure. I don't know about the 10.5. I think Ole Miss wins this game by 10 or 10, 13, something like that, around that number.
Yeah.
Playing on the road's tough.
I agree. And there's another quarterback that we haven't talked about in this game. It's Jackson Dart. And
Yeah,
so
he's a stud.
The way he throws the ball is going to be hard for Florida to keep up with. And so are you picking Ole Miss?
I am picking Ole Miss.
I will be right there with you. I think they cover the 10-point spread. I'm not going to hold Florida to covering that. That's a tough spread to cover. And so I think Ole Miss takes care of business. They beat Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You said they're not going to cover?
I think Ole Miss covers, yeah.
Oh, you do think they cover?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're almost in agreement there. Moving on, I want a quick one, the ACC. I don't know how close this matchup's actually going to be. Got SMU at Virginia. This is an important one for Clemson as well. It could be open up the another whole scenario for Clemson to make ACC championship game.
Yep.
And I have on here again, is SMU finally going to separate themselves from the bottom feeders of the ACC?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
see.
know.
We'll see. And they're going on the road this game, so they'll be in unfamiliar
They are
territory.
going on the road this game.
Virginia's not necessarily an environment that is roaring, but
no, there's going to be nobody at this game.
that would be funny if a ton of Clemson fans came and they were roaring. You know,
That would be funny.
we need somebody roaring in this game for SMU to be challenged. But I'm going to go with SMU in this game. I think they played a close one last week. I think that'll humble them. So I think they'll really put their head down in this game and they'll go forward with the win.
I never want to praise a loss, but Virginia only lost by 21 to Notre Dame last week. I don't know if on the road too. I think that's pretty impressive.
What was the score?
35 to 14.
Okay.
So their defense kind of held them in check a little bit,
Tiny.
but I think that's impressive. I mean, Notre Dame has been killing people ever since they lost to NIU.
Yeah.
They've been running people out of the football stadium, and I'm pretty impressed with it. But my concern with Virginia is how consistent is their quarterback going to be. I love Calandria. He's a good young player. He's not very big, but he's put the ball in harm's way too many times without making good enough plays to win. Yeah. And I don't like against Notre Dame last week. He was 8 for 21 for 69 yards and 3 interceptions. That stat line is never going to win you a football game.
Yeah.
And that impresses me even more with how close they kept that game. But Calandria, he's thrown 8 picks in his last 3 games. That cannot happen against SMU.
Yeah.
They have to play a clean slate to beat them. And Calandria's got to get back to using his legs to do something. I mean, I'm surprised they beat Pitt with him throwing two picks. But he played a decent game against Clemson. If you see something a little bit like that, maybe there's an opportunity. They beat SMU and kind of give Clemson some hope. But SMU looks balanced, man. They're running the football. They're throwing the football. Played a close one against Boston College. I just don't know how you can not pick SMU here.
Yeah, I'm picking SMU all the way.
Yeah. Moving on, we got my favorite game of the week. I don't know what time this game is, but it will be on my phone or on the TV. Charleston Southern is traveling to Florida State. 1-10,
Yeah.
Charleston Southern versus 1-9, Florida State. Why was this not game day?
Dude, robbed. I'm really robbed, honestly.
I don't even know what game day is it.
It's
this week.
Indiana, Ohio State.
Oh, yeah, no, it should have been here. Should have been here.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Charleston Southern, dude, they've been horrible.
I love this. I love this game being on here, dude. It's so funny.
Charleston Southern's been horrible all year.
Yeah.
They weren't expected to be this bad, but I mean, Florida State's also horrendous.
And nobody expected them to be that bad either.
No, they didn't. But Charleston Southern's coming in here. They played a close one against Clemson last year in the first quarter, for the first quarter. And don't forget, Florida State, they lost to an FCS school a few years ago.
Yeah.
They lost to Jacksonville State on the last play of the game. It's possible this happens again, man.
Mm-hmm.
Very possible.
I'm going to go ahead and strip away Florida State's home field advantage. If I'm a Florida State student,
Are they still doing construction on their stadium?
Maybe. It'd be the year to do it, honestly. If they
Did you not see them doing it during the Clemson game?
Oh, you talking about the upper deck?
Yeah, all of it was gone.
Yeah, they didn't have anybody on the upper deck. Yeah, they might. I mean, who cares? Nobody's going to be up there anyways. But
yeah, I agree.
I mean, so that Charleston Southern can take advantage of there. The only problem is Charleston Southern sucks. They're 1-10.
Yeah.
So I don't have faith in Charleston Southern to compete against Florida State. And honestly, I think Florida State's going to win it more. The worst thing ever would be to lose to Charleston Southern in this game. So I think Florida State. I think they take care of business here, which is what hasn't been said about Florida State a lot in this college football season. So I'm going to ride with Florida State. That would be pretty sad if Florida State were to find a way to lose this one. So I'm going to pick Florida State.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, we'll see here. Charleston Southern, they got to get their run game going. They don't really trust either one of their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But if Charleston Southern can run the football, this game will be a little bit close. They have to be able to run the football and stop the run. Because I'm not confident in any quarterback that Florida State's going to run out there. Mm-hmm. So Charleston Southern, if they can keep this game close, it's going to be because they can stop the run game and get the run game going a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the spread for a second here because this is a gimme. Charleston Southern is 33.5 point dogs. 33.5, JT.
Yeah.
Can Florida State score 7 touchdowns?
Yeah, I don't think so. That's an easy lock right there in my eyes, and I better not be disappointed with how I bet for this game. But
Florida State has scored over 20 points once all season, and it was in game 1. They scored 21.
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty ridiculous.
Where's DJ at? Is he not playing anymore?
He's still hurt.
Whatever. He quit.
They probably ran him off.
Probably.
Honestly. But moving on, we're going to the Big 12. Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorite matchups of the week. Got BYU at Arizona State.
Yep.
BYU's been playing close ones all year. JT's favorite thing to do is to crap on Iowa State. But maybe he needs to change that thinking and start crapping on BYU.
Hey, I was a big BYU guy.
I know, but maybe you need to change your mind.
Maybe.
Because they've been playing close ones all year.
They have.
All year long.
Yeah, BYU's still talented. You guys still give them credit.
No, they are still talented.
For them to only have one loss going into week 13, that's saying something about them. So
yeah, it feels like they have 4 though.
It does. It does feel like they have 4, and then that's how the committee treated them as well. They only have one loss and bumped them down so far. So I like BYU. I like our Arizona State. This will be a fun one. I think we've picked the same games up until this point. Maybe we'll pick different.
You're going BYU?
I was going to go Arizona State. You going Arizona State?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I go Arizona State?
Arizona
I've been
State
hating on BYU this whole time.
It's harder for me to go for Arizona State in this one because I really was pulling for BYU. They really had a resume to prove that they can get stuff done, but they just haven't. The last few weeks have not looked pretty. It forces me to pick Arizona State. I don't have a choice.
I have Arizona State big in this game.
Do you?
The way Arizona State came out and played last week,
yeah.
I had Kansas State money line on one of my parlays,
yeah,
and I was so devastated.
Yeah,
when I saw how Arizona State came out and played.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona State has the better coach. Mm-hmm. He's going to get them hyped up. He's going to get them ready. This is a home game. They have a freshman quarterback, young. He's playing great. Sam Levitt. Mm-hmm. Look him up. They have experienced running back Kim Scatabo. I don't know if you remember Missouri's. This is going to sound bad. Missouri's white running back last year. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
That's Cam Scatabo.
Okay.
He's not going to run anybody out. He's a gritty player, high motor guy. He's great, man.
Uh-huh.
I love me some Cam Scatabo, but ASU both teams need this game.
Yeah.
Both teams have everything to fight for right now.
And where's this game at? It's at Arizona State. So
yeah, it is.
The fans are going to pop out. And BYU got the win against Utah on the road. That was a tough place to play as well.
That is a tough place.
I know the refs helped them out pretty good, put a good amount, but they didn't play well. Bottom line, and Arizona State's way better than Utah is, and so I've got to go Arizona State.
Yeah, I'm going Arizona State's favored too. I'm glad Vegas recognizes that. Yeah. Arizona State's favored by 3.
Yeah,
I might think about taking that.
Yeah,
but moving on, this is a tricky one to me. Army, it's not at Notre Dame. It's just Army versus Notre Dame. They're playing in Yankee Stadium. Mm-hmm. It's going to be funky playing in a baseball stadium. But this is a playoff elimination game for both teams.
Yeah.
If Army loses, they're presumably done unless Boise has a complete meltdown. Mm. And there's no way Notre Dame gets in with 2 losses to Group of 5 schools.
Yeah.
But when I'm thinking, I really want Army to win this game. I do. But thinking back, I just have I have the Notre Dame Navy game sitting in the back of my head. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame came out there and they just completely dominated Navy. Granted, Navy had a lot of turnovers, and maybe that Army's going to protect the football better.
Yeah.
But that game is sitting right there in the back of my head, and Army's just going to have smaller guys on both lines than Notre Dame has. And I really don't know where to go with this one.
Well, for you to tie me, you've got to pick different from me these
know,
next 4 games. So I'm gonna go first for the rest of the predictions, just to give you a little chance if you want to get ahead. But man, you're sitting here talking about how this is gonna be a close game. I kind of disagree.
Really?
I think Notre Dame wins.
Army's defense is good, man.
I think they win by 2 touchdowns. I think the way Notre Dame will prepare, their playoff lines are on the hope on their playoff hopes are on the line as well. I don't think this game will be as close. It's going to be somewhat close, but I think Notre Dame will pull away in the fourth quarter. So.
In the fourth quarter? Mm-hmm. So you think it's close all the way up to the fourth quarter?
I think Notre Dame will win. I don't think there will be a case when Army's winning.
Okay.
Because I think Notre Dame can stop the run, and that's really all Army's offense is. So I'm going to take Notre Dame to win, and they're going to pull away in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you talk about stopping the run, and that's going to be very important in this game. Mm-hmm. But I think Notre Dame's playing the best player they've seen all year in Bryson Daly. Mm-hmm. He doesn't throw the football a lot because it's still Army's offense, but he's already got over 1,000 rushing yards and 21 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. It's pretty incredible as a quarterback.
Yeah.
But my thing with this game is Notre Dame's they're going to establish the run.
Yeah.
I don't think that that Army's going to be able to stop it with Riley Leonard rushing the football. Notre Dame's running back Jeremiah Love rushing the football. He's been great all year. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. Just with Notre Dame's boys up front, I don't see the upset happening. So even though I do need to catch up on JT, I can't. I also can't drop games off of JT.
You're right.
So
you're right. I'm tricking you.
I'm going Notre Dame here.
Bet.
And I still got some weeks to catch up on JT. We got all the way up to the championship game to catch up, and it's just 4 games.
Yeah.
So moving on, Texas A&M at Auburn. Mm-hmm. This game is a little sneaky for Texas A&M, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I think Vegas sees that. Maybe not a lot of people see this, but Vegas sees it as the spread is only, I think it's only 2.5.
Yeah, I thought it was 2.5 too.
In Texas A&M's favor, and it opened at that, and it hasn't moved, which shocks me. But Auburn, they haven't had their sneaky SEC win yet. Mm-hmm. It's coming. And they're playing at Jordan-Hare. It can be tricky. And A&M's best SEC win is against LSU, that's not even a good win anymore.
Yeah.
So, what you think about this one?
I think Auburn either plays close and gets wrecked by Alabama, or they get wrecked by Texas A&M and plays close against Bama.
Yeah, I agree.
When it comes down to predicting this game, I think Texas A&M has more on the line. Auburn is sneaky, and I'll give you that. However, I got to go Texas A&M. I'm pretty confident they're going to get the win. The 2.5 spread is a little surprising to me. I'm going to take advantage of that soon. But I'm going to say Texas A&M goes in Auburn and beats them.
Yeah, I just want to read you some scores here. Mm-hmm. A&M, this is with Marcel Reed at quarterback, even though I praise him a lot. I'm just going to read this. They beat Florida by 2 scores, 33-20. Barely beat Bowling Green, 26-20. Barely beat Arkansas, 21-17. And you get throttled by South Carolina, 44-20 on the road. Now that's the one I really want to look at. Is that one on the road? You're going into an environment that I think is still going to be rowdy. I don't care that Auburn's has had a bad year. I think their fans are still going to show up.
Yeah.
And they're going to show out. And Auburn they have some guys. They got Cam Coleman. They got some really good freshman receivers like Cam Coleman that can play some good football and make plays when needed. But it's going to come down to Peyton Thorne, who's starting quarterback for Auburn, and how he plays this game.
Yeah.
If he turns the ball over, any turnovers, Auburn will not win, and they will not play close. But if he does not throw any interceptions, this game will be a close one. And did you already pick A&M for this game? Did you already say that?
I said I'm going to pick A&M to beat Auburn in this one.
Okay, well here's my comeback. Auburn is beating Texas A&M this week.
That's bold. You were so high on Texas A&M, and you kind of flipped the switch there a little bit.
Losing to South Carolina that bad, man.
Interesting. I don't hate it.
I'm kind of doing this to be a little different.
Honestly, if you get this game right, you deserve it. Honestly, I'm kind of taking the easy route. I'm not taking anybody who's not favored so far. And I'm not doing it on purpose. That's just how I'm picking. So, kudos to you if you get this game. I'm kind of pulling for you, but
yeah, the only thing I'm worried about, man, this game has got to stay low scoring for Auburn to have a chance.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm really worried about. If Texas A&M starts scoring, if they score over 20, Auburn's not winning. So you need Auburn's defense to come in clutch, and you need Peyton Thorne not to turn the ball over to give Texas A&M easy opportunities. But I know they played ULM last week, but Peyton Thorne threw 5 touchdowns on about 300 yards. And the week before, even against Vandy, I know they lost, but Peyton Thorne still had a decent day at the office.
Yeah.
But Auburn, I don't know if you remember this, they played a really close one against Georgia last year at their home stadium. Or it might have been at Georgia. I can't remember.
Georgia did that a lot last year, I think.
What?
Playing close. That's just so annoying. But
That is annoying.
Georgia obviously playing close, but yeah, they did play close.
They played a really close one against Georgia.
Yeah.
And this is just what Auburn does, man.
Yeah.
They're going to get a sneaky SEC win. And it's coming here. I'm calling it. Booking it right now. Stamp it. Stamp it.
Stamp it.
Moving on. Staying in the SEC. This is another one that I think is a little tricky. Mm-hmm. Vandy is going to LSU at night. I think that's the best way to describe this game, I think. Is just saying those 3 words. LSU at night.
Yeah. I disagree with that take. I don't think LSU's all that, really. The way Bama just absolutely crushed. They crushed them.
They did crush them.
And this Bama team is not, like, astounding.
Not Bama.
They're not Bama. It's Kalen DeBoer. And they absolutely got crushed. However, I'm still going to pick LSU. I'm going to pick LSU mainly because of the way Vanderbilt played against South Carolina. It just was not impressive to me. And South Carolina's got a very good defense. LSU's, they're not quite up there with them that high, but they got a good defense as well. I think LSU takes care of Vanderbilt.
Yeah, LSU's coming into this game on a 3-game losing streak, and they're getting outscored since the third quarter of the Texas A&M game, 135. That's pretty incredible to me. But LSU, they've struggled all year defensively stopping the quarterback run game.
Yeah.
And that's really what's making this game tough for me. Because I was saying last week, all week, and I didn't really even believe it last week when I was saying it, but I just said it because I thought it would probably happen. If Lagway plays, they win.
Yeah.
Pavia has no injury concerns. He's been running all over teams all year. Mm-hmm. And LSU can't stop it. They showed with Milroe. They can't stop it. They showed with Marcel Reed. You can't stop it. Oh, I really want to pick Vandy, man. And if Vandy doesn't turn the ball over, this game's close, man. This game's coming down to the wire. But LSU, I don't know if LSU can lose four in a row.
Dude.
Say they lose this game. What happens to Brian Kelly?
Oh, my gosh.
Do you already fire him?
Dude, yeah. I would. I don't know if I'd fire him, but it'd be tough. Tough on them.
I don't know, man. But are you going LSU in this one? You're going LSU. Oh.
You're tempted. You're so tempted.
I had Vandy written on my prediction sheet coming into this room.
I'm not picking LSU because it's a night game. That doesn't have anything to do with my pick.
See, I'm picking LSU. If I pick LSU, it's going to be because it's a night game. I'm
picking LSU mainly because I'm not very impressed with what I've seen from Vanderbilt. That's why I'm picking LSU.
Yeah, they don't wow you. But they win, though.
They win. I mean, LSU, I also can't see them. This will be their 4th straight loss. I can't see that happening.
That's what makes it hard for me, too.
It's
LSU at night.
Hard game.
If it's at Vandy, I'm going Vandy here, no question.
Yeah. Give me LSU.
I don't know what to do. God, I don't know. I really want to trust in Pavia, man. But I think I'm going to take LSU.
You'll kick yourself if Vanderbilt wins now.
I am going to kick myself. I'm going to hate myself.
It's okay.
I don't see. It's like you said. I don't see a world where LSU drops 4 in a row.
If I picked Vandy, would you pick Vandy?
If you pick Vandy, I would be more inclined to pick Vandy, maybe. But
I'm not picking Vandy. I'm going LSU.
I don't know, man.
I'm sticking with it.
All right. I don't care. I'm picking Vandy. I'm going back.
You're going Vandy?
I'm going Vandy.
He's going Vandy, guys. He's going Vandy. Oh my goodness.
I'm going Vandy.
He's going Vandy. I might regret this.
LSU can't stop.
I shouldn't have said anything, dude.
LSU cannot stop the run game.
That's funny, Vandy. All right, then let's do it.
Give me Pavia mania.
That's right.
They say he's Johnny Manziel. We'll see if he is.
Oh yeah.
Moving on. Last one we got. Got Cincinnati at Kansas State. Mm-hmm. I really don't know what's going to happen in this one. I mean, the Big 12 has turned back into the Big 12.
Yeah.
Avery Johnson, he had a bad game last week. He's a young quarterback. I don't know if he gets back on track this week, but he is playing a home game.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Were they at home last week against?
I
think they were.
Against Arizona State? I don't remember.
Yeah, they were at home and still got cooked.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. This is a tough one.
It's a tough one. I think Avery Johnson's good. I think he's a good guy, good quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he has what it takes to beat a Cincinnati team. Cincinnati's not bad either. They have some good wins under their
Both
belt.
these teams are coming in with losing streaks. Cincinnati's lost 3 straight.
Yeah.
Kansas State's lost 2 straight, kind of ruining their season.
Yeah. Now Cincinnati, they beat Arizona State. Is that right? And then Kansas State lost to Arizona State. So you could argue that Cincinnati should beat Kansas State in this game. I think that wouldn't be a bad argument. But this by far, I think, is the toughest game for me to pick. But I'm going to put both my feet and all my confidence in Kansas State. I got Kansas State winning.
Yeah, I agree. This Kansas State team beat Colorado earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Which just shows the talent that they have if they produce good.
Right.
So you say Cincinnati beat Arizona State, and maybe you could see that, but Cincinnati also lost to Colorado and West Virginia, and Kansas State beat both those teams. I think Avery Johnson, I like him for the future of Kansas State. He's a young quarterback. If Kansas State fans are tired of him already, you just got to give him time, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you learned that from Cade. You just got to give him time.
Mm-hmm.
But he can run, he can throw. He's got to be better with his decision making in big games. That's the only thing he's got to work on.
Makes sense.
But I like Kansas State here. I think Avery Johnson's good for the future of them. Would not be shocked if they were in the playoff next season.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been shocked if they were in the playoff this season, but he's just listed a little early. Still the first year starting for him in relief of Will Howard, who's currently now at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And last thing we're getting to here is our parlays, favorite parlays.
Oh, yeah.
You want me to start off? Or?
I want you to go first. I've been stealing your thunder the last couple of times, so you go first.
All right, I'll go first here. All right. The game we talked about here and the game I hit on that I was practically going to take it, Charleston Southern plus 33.5 against Florida State. There is no possible way that Florida State puts up 35 points in this game. I think they win like 28-7 or something. Mm-hmm. Something like that. But I don't think that happened. I mean,
Okay.
God, man, that's crazy to me.
I hate it.
That spread is that high. Mm-hmm. And then I got Nebraska minus 2.5 at home against Wisconsin.
Interesting.
Nebraska, I believe they're on it's a 7 or 8 game losing streak once they hit 5 wins, which is an incredible stat. Like once they refused to make a bowl game, but Dylan Raiola came out this week and said, "I promise you, we will get to a bowl game." He's been kind of bad these past few weeks, kind of doing his best Patrick Mahomes impression this season anyway, But he's been hurt too these past few weeks. People forget that. They just look at his stats, but he's been playing hurt.
Yeah.
Been toughing through it. But I think they win by 3 against Wisconsin. This Wisconsin team cannot move the football. They are so bad offensively. They just fired their offense coordinator. Nebraska's also changed up their offense coordinator, but I like Nebraska here. I trust in Raiola to get them to a bowl game. This team's too talented to not make a bowl game. They have to win this game. I got Colorado minus 2.5 at Kansas. This is a tricky one, and I really don't even understand myself why we didn't pick it. But I don't know if Kansas can play spoil to 3 Big 12 title contenders 3 weeks in a row. This is, in my opinion, the best roster in the Big 12 going up against the second best roster in the Big 12.
Okay.
But I think Primetime and them, I think he's got them riding high. I think they got too much going on right now to lose this game. And if they win, they're going to win by more than 3. We've seen that. Colorado, they blow the doors open on teams. If they win, they will cover.
Yeah. And
then I got Pitt plus 8.5, plus 8, not and a half, just plus 8 at Louisville. Pitt, this is kind of a Clemson bet because we need them to win this game if Virginia beats SMU. But Pitt, I think they should be getting their starting quarterback back in Eli Holstein. They're a little banged up, but Louisville just lost a heartbreaker at Stanford. That type of loss like that could kill your season.
Yeah.
I mean, but it also could give you a bounce back opportunity. But I think at this point, I think that type of loss kills your season.
Yeah.
And I think Pitt covers here. They don't have to win to cover this, obviously, but this game's close for sure. And then the last one, I have Vandy points versus LSU plus 7.5. I mean, I might as well take money line, but I'm gonna stick with the points just in case they can't win because this game's gonna be close no matter what. You got Vandy plus 7.5. I don't see a world where LSU beats them by more than a touchdown with how they've been playing recently. So those are my parlays. Just a 5-leg for me.
Yeah. You said LSU. I'm writing these down.
Yeah.
You doing money line or spread?
I got spread for every single one of these.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting a little shafted on money line so far.
Hey,
so.
it's all good, bro.
Yeah. Not like you.
Let's dive into mine real quick. First of all, I've got Colorado State going up against Fresno State. They sit at a underdogs against Fresno State under the Bulldogs.
That's a home game too for Colorado State.
It is, yeah. So we'll see how this game's played. I'm pretty confident in Colorado State. They've done well this year in the Mountain West. Fresno State are frauds in my eyes. They're actually my Group of 5 conference winner this year going into this year.
Really?
So Fresno State's let me down.
I had Colorado State going into this year.
You did.
I really like their quarterback and that receiver they have.
Yeah, Colorado State's they're a good team. So I'm gonna take money line Colorado State.
I like that pick.
Beating Fresno State.
That pick will probably be on my parlays too.
Oh,
Even lie.
100%, dude. Next one, I'm picking the over on points. I think the Army and Notre Dame games
Over. Really?
over on points with the 44.5.
Oh, it's only at 44?
44.5, and so that's a steal. I think I would consider that one. I've been betting this on some of the point over unders, and I've been really successful with those, and so I'm gonna stick it out with the 44.5.
I like that pick.
Army and Notre Dame. I think it's gonna be high scoring. I don't think it's gonna be low scoring. So I'm picking that. I'm picking Stanford to cover the 14 point spread against California. California did not play great last week. Stanford played great last week, and so I don't have Stanford necessarily winning this game, but I can see them covering that 14-point spread. So I'm going to stick with Stanford to cover the 14-point spread against California. Next up, you had this one actually as well. I'm having Colorado with a 2.5-point spread over Kansas. I like Colorado. I think Kansas, they played well against BYU, but they still only scored about 17 points. And so they're really going to have to keep up with Colorado if they want to stay in it. I don't think they'll be able to do that. Colorado, I think, will win by at least over 3 points. So I'll have that for them as well. And I've got the last one. I've got Virginia covering against SMU. It's a 9.5-point spread. I think it'll. They beat Boston College by 10. SMU's doing just enough to get by, and so I've got Virginia welcoming in SMU into their hometown in Charlottesville. I got Virginia covering the 9.5-point spread against SMU, and that will complete my 5-leg parlay.
Yeah, honestly, I like 3 of them. I like Stanford too. Where's that Stanford game at? Is that at Cal?
It's I don't know.
Let me look real quick.
I don't even know. I think they should play that game at week 14. Honestly, that's a good rivalry that they could kind of play.
I mean,
close by.
SEC opponents.
Yeah,
that game is at California.
In California, that's funny.
I don't know. I don't like California's offense, but I like those. I really like the Colorado State pick.
Yeah.
Nah, I like the Notre Dame and Army over.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm concerned a little bit about Army's defense. I think Army's defense is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Y'all can put those in if you want to.
Do it.
If you want more in-depth Clemson information, go check out the Walk On blog. That is www.the-walk-on.com. If you want an easier access to Clemson information, go check out Clemson.fans on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
He's almost posting on the story almost daily about Clemson stuff, especially all the sports we got going on right now.
Dude.
Soccer's postseason starting up.
Hop on.
Basketball going on. And that's going to be it for us.
That's
We're going to
it.
catch y'all next week.
We'll catch y'all next time.
Yes, sir. We got a big one next week.
Oh,
South
yeah.
Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
So ready.
We'll see y'all there for it.
Yes, sir.
All right.